Today I have with me a man who has been the epitome of grit, determination, dedication, and commitment on and off the field. He's none other than Virat Kohli. Welcome, Captain. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let me start off with England tour of 2014 versus England tour of 2018. What was the feeling like after the tour of 2018, you as a player and as a captain, after going through what you went through in 2014?
If I say that I wasn't nervous in 2018, I would be lying. I was very nervous before the first test match began. But, there's a 2014 for me is always going to be a milestone in my career. A lot of people take good tours as a milestone. For me, that tour of 2014 is always going to be the milestone in my career, from where I thought that things might go bad for me very soon, because the next big tour was Australia, and I really had to sit down and change things about the way I thought, the way I approached the game, the way I played the game, and start being more fearless, so to say. Not in situations which sort of seemed easy when you are playing one-day cricket, white ball cricket. Invariably, you know what the situation is in front of you, so you prepare yourself, you get motivated very quickly, and you go say, okay, this is what I need to do. It's short and sharp. I'm going to go ahead and do it. If it doesn't happen, so be it. It's a game. But Test cricket, I realized when it gets tough, to maintain your composure is the most difficult thing for a cricketer, and that is something that I really needed to correct in me. If that tour hadn't happened, I would have continued probably the same way I was, and I wouldn't have improved on things. So I think that tour really made me sit down and think about how I need to approach my international career, and do I just want to be a pushover every time I play Test cricket? And that is a decision that I had to make.
Yeah, because we read a lot about, you made a little change with your right foot, the angle of your right foot, from, I think, it being from just in front of point to, behind point, to being side on, and a lot of stuff. So can you talk us through that?
Yeah, look, my hip position obviously was an issue in that England tour, and because it was a thing of not adjusting to the conditions and basically wanting to do what I wanted to do, and then being rigid about it. So I think being rigid about anything doesn't get you anywhere, and I realized that pretty quickly. It was a long and painful realization, but I realized it. The one thing that stood out was my hip, the right hip. When our right hip opens as batsmen, or closes too much as batsmen, we are in trouble. So keeping that hip position nice and side on, and balanced in a way that you can play through the offside and through the leg side with equal control is very, very important. So I think that is one thing that went off. Trying to basically, I was too worried about thinking of the ball that might come in, and that's why I was opening up too early, and then the ball that was going away was getting me every time. So I just couldn't get past that confusion. So when I came back, I saw footage, I saw what was happening wrong. Even my stride to the ball wasn't as confident as it should have been, the forward press, and I just relied on my hands a lot, which I think in this day and age, bowlers find you out pretty quickly, and they start targeting the areas that you're uncomfortable with. So I came back. I spoke to Sachin Paji as well in Bombay. I did a few sessions with him. So I told him I'm working on my hip position, but then he made me realize the importance of a big stride, the forward press against fast bowlers as well. So the moment I started doing that with my hip alignment, things started ironing out pretty nicely for me, and then I became more and more confident with following that pattern, and eventually that Australia tour happened.
And 2018 in England, massive success for you as a player. What was the feeling like after that? You must have definitely felt good, scoring runs.
Well, to be honest, Mayank, I never really paid attention to these things that what people perceived me as after 2014. Obviously, it troubled me a little bit, because all my credibility as a player went away in a month or so. So you do feel like, when you are good enough, but then you are focusing too much on what people say about you. That can disappoint you. So I did that as well. I went through that journey of my own. But then I stopped focusing on what people had to say about me. I just went on in my own little bubble, in my own zone, preparing myself, and kept working on my game. But, from the great thing about 2018 was I went as a captain and a player. So that whole feeling not there as a player. I knew that conditions are going to be difficult, and I want to lead from the front, and I want to be able to put in those performances from the front. And hence I was nervous before the first game that, I want to be able to start well. That was the nervousness, not that 2014, who I now 2018 is my chance for redemption or something like that. It wasn't my mindset at all. I would have been pretty happy in contributing whatever I could, to make the team win. So the fact that I was able to do that for the team, and if we really look back at that series, I think till about three tests the series was very tight, and then the last, even the fourth test in Southampton, we lost the series in bad cricket for a very short period, but the bad cricket was very bad. So it wasn't like it was in 60-40 balance. The bad stuff went 80-20. And otherwise it was 50-50. Sometimes we were 60-40. Sometimes they were 60-40. But then that really bad cricket of a phase is what cost us. So we weren't too heartbroken about that series, to be honest, because we really, really competed. And that the England team also knew that, we are here to get that result and not just show that we can play here. So it was overall a very sort of confidence boosting series for us as a team. And then we went on to win in Australia after that. From that series we learned quite a bit that we can do it. We didn't lose hope. So from that point of view, I think it was a more balanced series, if I can put it that way.
Okay, so talking about tweaking a bit and making those changes. This was a very personal conversation you had with me, where you said, Ravi Bhai helped you and suggested you a change in your batting, and that really helped your game as well. So what was the change, and how did you manage to make that change?
Well, it was actually after the England tour, 2014, after the Test series. He called me and Shikhar to his room. Shikhar also wanted to have a word with him about something, and he called us to his room, and he called for a bat as well. So, and because he has such a keen understanding of the game and little things that you can do that make huge difference, because from a lower order player to opening for India and averaging 40 plus and scoring hundreds almost everywhere in the world, you have to have a very good understanding of your own game firstly, and about the game of cricket in general. So his understanding was very sharp. So he told me something which I started practicing after, which is standing outside the crease. And he explained the mindset behind it, that you should be in control of the space you are playing in, and not give the bowler so many opportunities to get you out, which is standing in the crease. So many dismissals get taken out when you're standing outside the crease, and you can really understand the position that you're in, and you're more in control. So I started practicing that in Australia afterwards, in the same year, and the results were unbelievable. I made my stance bigger, which was a conversation I had with Duncan Fletcher, our coach at that time. He also had a very, very amazing understanding of the game. Loved working with him as well. So this broad stance is something that I spoke to him about, for that forward press and giving me that balance from where I could play the ball with conviction off the front foot. But also he asked me one question, whether I'm comfortable in then taking on the short ball from the same base, which I was. So he said, then it works out amazingly for you. And Ravi Bhai also asked me one thing before he wanted me to stand up. He said, are you scared of the short ball? I said, I'm not scared of the short ball.
I was going to get to that.
He said, are you scared of the short ball? I said, not at all. I don't mind getting hurt. I just don't want to get out. So he said, fair enough, then stand outside the crease. And actually before the 2018 England tour as well, I was practicing something different. But then in the first net session we had before our tour game, he asked me again, why are you not standing outside the crease? Why have you forgotten? So then I remembered, crap, I totally forgot that it was all to do with, playing in the most difficult conditions and to be able to play with control there. So I went back into the nets, did about 40 minutes again of standing outside the crease, and it was chalk and cheese. I was so much more in control. And then the tour game also I played with absolute control. And then from there on through the series, obviously it helped me a lot.
I want to ask you straight up, what is Virat Kohli's X factor as a captain?
X factor.
Yeah.
I would not compromise on wanting a result in any situation. Drawing a game for me should be the last. So if you tell me that you are chasing, say, 300 on the last day, and the oppositions put you in a test match, I would tell the guys, let's try and go for it. It's 100 runs a session. Even if the first one gets you 80 with a wicket or two lost, the middle session, two guys can take the responsibility of dominating an hour. And then if you get 100 in that, then you get 120 in the last one. And if you hold enough wickets, if you have 7 in hand in the last session and 120 to get, think of a one-day game. You can easily try and do it. So a draw comes to me only and only if the situation has gone too bad, or in the last hour when you don't have an option. I will not think draw from the first minute of the morning when we have to chase 300 on the last day with 10 wickets in hand. That is not an option for me, and that will never be. I think fearing a loss is the most, I would say, self. How do I put it? Self. What is that word? I'm not able to find the word. Or just say negative. It is the most negative thing you can think of as a sports person. And it causes self-harm. That's what I wanted to put across. That if you're surrendering before you can actually achieve a victory, means you are causing harm to your own mindset. You are backing out on your own potential of knowing how good you are. What if you as an opener get a 120 not out on that day and become that, that opener that people will know for the next 10 years and, people will remember for their life. So those are the days, those are the moments which can really make a person feel like, wow, I have played beyond myself. And that is my only aim, for people to realize how good they can be. And if the whole team can get together like that, you will be unbeatable with your work ethic and your discipline off the field.